Hello and welcome to Azreality Gaming. My name is Dustin, and today marks the 1-year anniversary of Tales of Arise, released in America for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. When I originally bought the game a year ago, I had this idea of spreading out the gameplay over the course of an entire year, which I just recently beat Tales of Arise a few days ago, and now I'm going to give you my thoughts about whether that experience was good or bad. I will note, however, that most reviews of Tales of Arise have been overwhelmingly positive, with a few common complaints around difficulty. Tales of Arise has gone on to win the Best Role-Playing Game for 2021 from the Game Awards, and tops many of the must-play RPGs for Tales and non-Tales fans. This is my first experience playing in Tales games. Well, I guess not totally true. I did dabble a bit with Tales of Destiny for the PS1 for an hour before moving on, but nonetheless, this is, at least in my eyes, the first modern Tales games I played from beginning to end. The experiment of playing the game through for the entire year had a few interesting discoveries about my gameplay style and a few issues to overcome. You see, when you play a JRPG for 8 to 16 hours, you've invested enough time into the game to have a clear understanding of mechanics, initial storyline, and key players. You start to develop certain feelings or notions towards those characters and their story. Now you put down the game for 2 or 3 months to play other games like, Triangle Strategy or Atelier Sophie 2 during the same release year, and then come back to Tales having a different view of the events in the game. That may be because Tales of Arise storyline in the beginning doesn't really drive someone to feel rushed or pressured by some big bad guy or calamity, but I think by playing other JRPGs in and around playing Tales of Arise, it kind of lessened the interest of the game for me. It's easy to give up and just put the game down in the backlog and forget about it until a later date. But no, I had a goal, and I wanted to persevere, knowing it would take true dedication and motivation to restart where I left off. The real problem with starting and then stopping a JRPG, and then of course trying to restart it again, is you forget where you left off. What quests were you in the middle of, and what was the name of the town I was supposed to go to again? What are the simple battle commands, and how do I open my map or inventory screen again? It's like playing a game from someone else's save point, and you really have no idea where you are. Luckily, Tales of Arise helps you in this area by having a fairly easy way to look at your journal and find out what quest you were on. It even gives you the option to warp to a close-by spot to re-engage in that quest. The combat can be easily picked back up just by playing a few battles and button mashing your way back into rhythm of combos and power moves. Well, at least it becomes easier if you can remember which button you actually open the menu versus which one opens the map. Now, one positive side effect that occurred was after I got through the learning curve of remembering where I was in the game, I got sucked back into the combat and the action sequence way more than the storyline. In the beginning, I was really interested in the story and did all the side skit conversations and read all the scripts. After coming back, I still enjoyed that part of the game, but I started to take equal interest in other areas of the game, like the combat, or really noticing how fucking cool the music is and the anime art style and design. After playing Triangle Strategy in between Tales of Arise play sessions, I found myself thinking more tactically about my combat. And when I played Atelier Sophie 2, only to bounce back into Tales again, I wanted to really dig into the crafting part of the game and went out of my way seeking to find all the materials I needed to craft my best weapon. These other games that I played in and around Tales of Arise really helped influence my enjoyment of the game in a way I just didn't expect. In the end, I really started to power through the game, and in the last couple of weeks, I started to obsess about what the last chapters of the game would be like. Which by now, if you have played Tales of the Rise, you already know how crazy the story changes, and it reminds me a bit of Star Ocean. You become a space cowboy bent on saving the two worlds, and you and your team are a part of it. It's an interesting story that kept me glued and wanting more. The boss battles were just friggin' awesome, and after completing, had me yelling, "Hell yeah, that was amazing!" where you get to have those goosebumps on your arms and get that adrenaline rush that comes with it. One of the bad guys in particular, you learn to hate early on, and when you finally get to smack him around, it feels very satisfying. Now I could go on and give you a full review of the game, but I feel there are tons of other great reviews out there by other content providers. Instead, I'll just summarize and be succinct as possible. Storyline. Check, check, and check. It can be kind of cheeky at times, but get into it and enjoy the relationship dynamics of the 6 characters you can play. You probably gravitate towards a couple characters more than others, and that I think is by design, depending upon which part of the storyline you are at. The art design and music, a real highlight for me here. I've started to take more notice of these qualities in JRPG games, and have so far been favorably rewarded. The graphics are not next-gen bending, and doesn't tax the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but still good enough to hold their own. I would say that the colors and the art direction are heavily influenced by anime, and the game honestly feels like you're playing directly from a manga or TV series. The cutscenes and skits are designed to enhance that feeling, and to add to the overall enjoyment of the art and music. Combat mechanics. While in the beginning are awesome and feel fluid yet challenging, later become very repetitive and starts to dilute my enjoyment. Yes, as I said, I started to think more tactically and helped me pull out of the rut of cut and paste combat moves and ultimates. It really felt like only the bosses required any thought or effort at all, and I could just automate my gameplay from everything else. The effect of the combat and the combos are visually appealing and honestly quite awesome after you pull them off, but later on down the road they just get very repetitive after you've done one for like the 1000th time. Overall, I would say my experience with Tales of Arise being played over the course of a full year was great and really enjoyed the game. A lot more near the end was better for me and it gave me the drive to finish. I'm even considering playing a post-game quest and such just to be able to get a better New Game Plus experience. I guess I'm just curious what the game would be like starting over with all your gear, levels, skills, etc. on a harder difficulty. It would seem like the game would feel like a complete domination to me, but alas, I don't know and I'll just have to see. By now, I hope most of you who love good JRPGs have played Tales of Arise, and I'm sure you've enjoyed it as I have. If you haven't played the game yet, then what are you waiting for? Go get it! It's gone down in price and is usually available for under $40, and I would imagine during Black Friday holiday season you could pick it up for as low as $20 or $30. If you are interested in helping out the channel, you could always pick up a copy from my Amazon affiliate link posted in the details below. And as always, if you like retro to modern gaming content, JRPG reviews, and game hunting videos, please consider subscribing as we probably have a lot in common and we'll get along just fine. Until then, keep on gaming, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time.